going game. And let's see what's going to happen. What's up, Adzi? Thank you very much for the cheer 100, the Wardy cheer 100. Thank you very much. Appreciate. And let's do this. Let's see how things are going to go as we do have to the bottom right-hand side of the map our red Zerg player kicking us off in this series. He is from Team Liquid. It is Snute. He's up against the green Terran player to the upper left-hand side from Root Gaming. It is going to be Semper. Okay then, setting up into this, getting ready to go, getting ready to see what's going to happen. Looking to see what Snute will bring us maybe differently to what we just saw from a laser. See what Semper's going to do differently from Keen to maybe not just die to the Zerg wave of aggression time and time again. Snute already going pool first rather than hatchery first, which is something Snute likes to do. Just to try and get a couple lings out early, just to get a couple lings going. And to see what he can do with them, I suppose, sometimes. Delay the CC, etc. can be a nice little way to pressure early game. This one pool finishes up there, and an extractor just on the way out for now. Nothing too crazy. Semper just setting up here with this SCV on the natural. Ready to throw down his CC pod of his Reaper expand. We'll see what he does with the Reaper. If it comes across the map, it could become an issue with the lings coming over. If it stays at home, it could just sit there nicely, ready to defend. Thank you very much, Stig Vatland. Stig, my man, what's up? With the $5 donation says... Sorry, I totally just read it and now I forgot. Says, let's go, Snute. Thank you, Wardy. Thank you very much for the $5, man. Can you get some love in the chat for Stig and his $5 donation? And let's go, Snute, indeed. Snute definitely one of the favorites, I think, on this side of the bracket. Would be interesting to see how he does against Ryung tomorrow, especially if he was able to make it through. But Semper is always this player who can definitely take games, who can definitely come up and surprise people. I think, I mean, he already kind of did it to some extent during the group stage. Advancing through the group over Bly, for example, was maybe not everyone's kind of first choice of how things were going to go. One SCV picked up by this Zerg, and he gets a scout of the reactor factory coming down as well. Double gas from Semper, and so again the starport should be on the way here very soon after the factory. And just going to be 2 brace pressure for a little while. Probably will end up with a third CC, of course. Most builds do, but not going to be a super fast third command center, which we're so often used to nowadays from Terran. Well, not so often used to, but which we do sometimes see, I suppose, if you see a single gas, etc. Reaper. It's going to be the Reaper moving away from this Queen. Just a nice little bit of a deflection. Once obviously Snute able to take his third base. That was a lot of words that didn't really make sense, was it? Snute just wants to be able to take his third base here, so preemptively bringing the Queen over to push it away. I'm just going to be seeing the medevac on the way out as the factory getting ready to land on the reactor. So, there we go. Oh, while there, Barracks will move over to the next starport and build a tech lab, which obviously opens some questions as to what this follow-up could be. So we look at that and wait and see here over the next few moments. Armory coming down now as well from Semper. Setting up in towards potentially a Hellbat base follow-up here then. We will see the Ling again, denied vision. Isn't really able to see much at all apart from, I guess just now he's able to see the, I guess, tech lab building. It's something. It's something. Sometimes you gotta take what you can get in these sort of games. And even just seeing that tech lab building can be a little bit of info, which can just build up a general idea as to what the Terran player could be up to. So Snute, just slowly picking up information. Now you're lose to this right hand side. He's picking his way through this Overlord, so Overlord does get picked away at, and as the Overlord falls, we'll see the Reaper Marine is going to continue to move down the right. And already a grenade going down, blasting a couple of Queens away. Continue to trade out here as again those Marines doing a little bit of damage. You're going to see the lift up there. The Zerglings running over, not able to do too much themselves. Starport lifts up, going to drop down to a tech lab. A third CC starts to build also. And still Hellions morphing in, or Warp Bear getting ready to go. Liberator going to join us across the map. And now Raven as a follow-up as well. So Semper really looking for aggression and continued aggression Unfortunately, loses the medevac before he can do much. Then comes down, he'll get rid of one creep teamer here, a second one will go down shortly. The count from Snute right now is 8 queens and 14 lings, and honestly we've seen the queens already today deflecting hellbats. This attack doesn't even have any longer a medevac mixed in with it, so this shouldn't be too difficult for Snute. He's got transfuse energy, he's going to pull back and kite away. Liberator on the natural expansion though is going to start doing some damage here. Queen has to be cautious about that. He's coming in just to help out with those hellbats and eventually will be helping to take those down. So a little bit of lost mine time here, and Semper definitely doing a little bit to kind of slow this down, but now the sport in position is picked off, or at least pushed away the Liberator. Only a couple of drones lost in the end, some mining time too. Snute in general should be fairly happy because he's cleaned up the medevac, the marines, he's cleaned up the hellbats also, and he really hasn't lost so much just yet while all of that's been going on. Liberator sieges again, drones are continue to be picked away at. See the spore crawler coming into location, we'll be able to push that Liberator away. Coming back up the ramp, and again just going to be seeing the 1-1 upgrade still starting up here for Semper. The 1-1 coming through here for Snute as well, just about halfway done. Liberator goes down. Spore crawler going to relocate. And again, Queen's just going to be able to push on forwards. Seven roaches are on the way up. A couple of these barracks on the way up as well. Both players entering their mid game, and Snute going to play a very different style to what we saw Laser playing, which is not a surprise. Snute has always been a much more favourable player towards Roach, Ravager, Infester sort of styles rather than the Ling Bane player styles. He will play Ling Bane maybe throughout this series once or twice, change things up, may play some Ling Bane meter or so, but almost definitely I think the Roach Ravager is what we'll see the majority of, or the most of, throughout this. We're going to see two Queens already intercepting this Raven, getting very low this Raven. It's going to get pushed all the way up in towards the main base perhaps. Another Queen will come in and try and deflect here. Maybe a couple of auto turrets, one goes down. Queen has to back away, and for now it is going to be this auto turret just to push the Queen back and to try and get damage done. The Raven though still low health, no real way out for it here. Another auto turret this time will hit the mineral line, and gas drones are being picked up. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 workers if Snute doesn't respond shortly. Will be good damage done then. Queens are going to find the opportunity to get this Raven. I think now it's very close. I think if the Queens actually went to the edge they would get it. Snute no longer paying attention. No Hive on the way up for him. Something which Semper has probably seen here, right, with the Raven. He has indeed. So he knows Hive's coming up. And Snute with the Hive usually loves to play into that Spire tech, but we don't see that just yet. Don't really see him going Ultras either though without any melee upgrades. I mean, I guess he could. I'm sure we'll see in a moment or two. There's the Spire, okay, so... And generally Snute's playstyle builds straight into Broodlords. So we'll see how that goes for him, as we're going to see a couple Creep Tumors just continue to push on through into the center more. Now two Medevacs coming over, but again, generally here Snute has been in control of the start of this game. He's known what he's wanted to do, and he's just been making sure to do it. Festus here just sat back towards this hatchery, and things load up, they unload once again, and we do see Creep being picked away at. Roaches and Ravagers make their way through these rocks. And just opening up the map a little bit to allow for potential flanks, etc. to come in so you can defend in multiple locations a bit more easily. And Roach Ravagers continue to push on through, and we are going to see again two Medevacs are lifting up and pulling away over to a little bit more towards the left hand side. Fourth base is on the way from Semper, expanding up to that high ground after taking the low ground already. You know, Semper very much so is kind of staying in the game in terms of supply. Nice little bits of harassment for the Ravens every now and then. Finally one Raven, still not actually going down. 5 kills and 10 kills on those. Issue is for Semper, what do you do to start dealing with the Zerg? Because Snute is not just sort of sitting around, you know, not maxing out and banking money because he's bad. He's maxing money because he's waiting to morph Ravagers or probably get some Corruptors out now that his Spire is finished. And now that it's already starting to morph into a greater Spire. So Broodlord's on the way, and Semper has to have an answer to that, whether it's a big 2-2 push to end the game, or whether it is just going to be a, you know, a natural kind of switch into Vikings and getting ready to deal with Broods. He has to start looking for something. Issue is for Semper, he doesn't have 2-2 upgrades yet, and Snute does. So for the next few moments, if Snute can find a fight, it could be pretty awesome. Already a Fungal does grab one of those Medevacs. So that's already a pretty nice little pickup there. And there's more fungal growths available. Those infestors have been up for a while, so there's about 5 more fungals left here. And Snute going to try and get in, well, Semper going to try and get in position down on this low ground here. Fungal growth, and that'll be some corrosive bars to follow up as well. 2 tanks going to go down almost instantly. More fungals not landing on any of the bio there. 2 of the 3 infestors actually get taken down, which is something as well. And Semper in this little bit of an annoying position for Snute to deal with, although he won't be there for very long, I don't think. As you're going to see infestor. Nearly going down. Again, friendly fire damage, I think, from, well, the splash damage from the tanks, just getting it very low. Still, Snute's 4th base is under pressure, and Semper's making a good little push for himself, but again, the eventuality is Broodlords, and what is there to deal with Broodlords? Well, really nothing at all. The first 3 are morphing in, 5 morphing in. Semper sees it now, and what does he do about it? I really don't know, like, I mean, the 6 broods morphing in, he throws down the double starport instantly. I mean, I guess I do know. You've got to try and push out Vikings, right? You can drop around to try and buy some time, but is Snute going to give you that time? Someone who's good as Snute knows what you're going to try and do for those drops, and really shouldn't be letting you kind of do it either. And as you can see already pushing forwards, the broods will not be far behind. 3 medevacs around the right, though, and they will need something at home to defend this. And it might just be enough to pull these Broodlords back home if Snute doesn't have too much else. Nice fungal growth, though. That guy allows the corrosive bars to come down on top of that army afterwards. Broods are going to turn around and have to deal with this drop over here. And so Snute and fall victim to the weakness of Broodlords for a moment. I mean, he kind of has to. He doesn't have enough reinforcements on the way up to do it. And the rest of his army's going to have to pull back anyways. If you leave the broods on their own in the middle of the map, they're just going to get sniped down very quickly and very easily. So, has to make sure he goes for it in this regard instead. And a few medevacs just out over to the right side, and a few of these Vipers just continue going up. 3-3 will be finishing for Snute in a moment or so. 3-3 on the way as well from Semper. Still setting up in towards that as you see a scan coming down. A couple of scans coming down over towards these bases. Spores just going to push forwards too. I mean, this is Snute's style. Playing it slow, playing it late. It's going to let Semper go into his own late game too. Fusion core for that advanced ballistics most likely. Ghost Academy just finished up as well. Those ghosts obviously will help deal with the Zerg late game units. Those snipes are so powerful against this composition. Still has Raven from earlier. 15 kills on it. He's just been coming back every now and then. Snute going to be in a bit of trouble perhaps here. Semper's going to start pushing. Snute's in position. He's got Broodlords. He's got so many Vipers. Vipers are kind of crazy here because they're going to parasitic bomb down the Vikings, but they can also blinding cloud with tanks to really make this very one-sided. There's the parasitic bombs, 2 of them right away. 2 Vipers are lost though. No blinding cloud comes down. All of the Vikings just being forced to spread out here. And the Broodlords can't even really do that much for themselves. Having to back away because the Vikings will just pick their way through them. Because there's no anti-air, there's no corruptors. I don't understand why Snute isn't building corruptors to help against these Vikings. He's already weakened them up. Why not just go in and really commit to them? Nice fungal growth. Again, the fungal bar combos have been beautiful from Snute throughout this game. We've seen a few so far today, and all of them kind of hitting their markers. The Broodlings do pick off a tank pretty quickly there. Now corruptors and new infestors on the way. Snute just rebuilding the tech units he needs. The Vipers too. It's getting remaxed and rebuilt on everything you lost in that last little skirmish. Semper though, I mean the 5-base Terran play is not going to be easy to break, and he's not going to be easy to wear down either. And so we're probably in for the long haul here in game number 1 of this series. Snute and Semper are going to be going, I reckon, even towards 30 minutes. We're 40 minutes in now. I reckon this could go on 15, 16 more minutes, unless one of them finds a very decisive fight very soon. This is going to be one of them very slow-paced games where there's a drop here, a drop there, parasitic bomb and a fungal here. I don't think Snute's in any kind of rush to move out from his own 5 bases. It's not really the Snute way of playing this style. Sitting back on site defense and just continue to build up himself is much more kind of the way he likes to go for things in that regard. Some bio units will stim forwards and already working their way through a little bit of creep. Some creep getting taken down, and again Semper just opening the map up for himself. Obviously getting rid of some creep in front of the 4th is very nice because it means that now all of a sudden Snute's not going to have as much of a warning on attacks moving towards his 4th base or behind his 4th base mineral line. So it's a nice little pick off. So many Vikings in the sky. A couple more ghosts on the way out now. Again, there's that advanced ballistics coming through, and the Liberator production is also starting, although I don't really think you need Liberators against the Ravagers like this. I mean, it will kind of force the corrosive bars to be used on something else other than just the siege tanks? I don't know if it's completely necessary. And a few changes, going to move on forwards. A moment or two of silence as we just wait for the next real kind of fight to happen, the next real position to be taken, and this could be it. Semper moving around to the south side of the map. Creep teamers are going down. The Ravager shots don't do too much here right away. Sporting a little bit of damage as someone's dropping on down some friendly fire because of it. I mean, that's why tanks are. That's why Snute style works so well, because you go into tanks to deal with the Roach Ravager, but suddenly there's Brood Lords, and they really do just negate the use of those tanks, and they can't really catch you very off guard. As you can see again, Brood Lords coming forward, friendly fire being dealt. These tanks have to be careful, man. Semper has to be careful. Big Roach counterattack. And there's a planetary fortress in both of these bases because it was the 4th and 5th base taken. So 4th and 5th base is just going to be under attack. It would probably be better targeting down SCVs instead. This army from Semper is on its way to deal with it, but Snute not paying much attention to these roaches. Might just be wanting to trade them out for some other supply, but I'd still like to see the SCVs go down instead. He starts targeting them now. Again, he's trying to be annoying, burrowing, trying to force a scan, but a Raven overhead will make it okay. 10 more drones. So obviously Snute is thinking about even more static defense here. Snute will want to keep pushing that creep spread out. He really wants to be able to take this base very safely with static defense around it. And so to be able to do that, he needs the creep in front of it, and that's what he's focused on now as we see another CC up top side. There's a bit of a flight to get over there, but once it's there, it's a 6th base from both players. And all of a sudden, this game is still really going the distance right now. What did I say, 30 minutes? Well, 12 and a half minutes away from it. It's a long time in a game of StarCraft 2, 12 and a half minutes. A lot can happen, but this is one of those situations you don't really expect to end in the immediate future unless one player really manages to massacre the fight. Scan here is good because it sees the queens and the burrowed infestors. Well, Semper to know where he should and shouldn't be pushing forwards into. CCs from Semper again set up as we're going to see a link counterattack. I mean, I like it, right? Link counterattacks at this stage of the game, they're just going to be difficult to deal with as you're thinking about mostly larger armies rather than small amounts of units to deal with these counters. It's going to be a little bit frustrating. Continue to drop. A-Work is killed and a lot of the Lings maintained. That's definitely something you want to, you'll be kind of happy about. 10 Work is picked off here is actually really yours. Some changes again picked off. Snute sends a couple of Marines into the army just to try and scout around, get some potential information. Semper just sending it to the left-hand side. Vipers are here. Parasitic bombs will go down. Nice splitaways, very quick splitaways by Semper to minimize the damage being taken here. Vipers get straight back to consuming. Bumps again. Lings are running by into this mineral line. And again, this planetary fort is trying to come up. May not be allowed to even. If the Lings turn around and target the CC, you might be able to force a lift before Planetary Fortress is ready. And he just runs the Lings into the tank there. I mean, Snute's preoccupied elsewhere on the map to completely think about exactly how he's going to approach this. So many Vikings, still a couple tanks here, friendly fire in every now and then. The Liberator count starting to rise too. Not sure what that's really going to add to this for now. I mean, I guess the sun moves to the ground, but I don't think they're an immediate threat. We're going to see nice fungal to cancel the second wave of snipes there. And actually, with the fungal going down, he's actually going to kill 3 of the 4 ghosts. The 4th ghost is caught in one more fungal, but he's not going to get it just yet. He could have ducked it. Parasitic bomb on the Liberators, which obviously have to unsiege to push forwards here. Now the last ghost has gone down. There's only air units remaining here, so Snute has broken this position. It took him a while, but he breaks through and he's got the bank still to play with 4.5k to 6k. 4 more Broodlords on the way out, 7 Liberators, 4 Goats coming through as well. I mean, again, obviously we can see the late game transition of Semper now really coming into full effect. Semper coming towards the upper right hand side, looking around himself to try and run by, hit another base. Snute moves into a 7th base now of his own, bottom left hand side. Keeps on expanding, doesn't allow his opponent to deny any bases which he might need in the future. Snute just looking to continue building up that bank. 20 minutes in. More Ghosts, more Liberators. We've already got the Vikings in the sky. Ghosts and Liberators can definitely go a long way, especially because the Liberators are something which is there to ground. There isn't a lot to win the ground fights right now for Semper. Just some ghosts. Not that there's a lot on the ground from Snute's side of things. 15 Ravagers. Still something though, and they are going to move up to this direction. As you're going to see, well, this turret getting picked off, and oh well, again, just little bits and pieces. Snute's not going to get overly greedy. He's revealed those Ravagers up there now. He'll know Semper's on the way to deal with them. Last thing Snute wants is to lose that. Semper walking around with a very clumped up army right here. He has to be so careful. One fungal growth on top of all of this, and then some corrosive piles. It's game ending. It really is. And that's why I imagine he's just scanning everywhere right now. Liberators will siege en masse. They're very clumped up though. I feel as though a bunch of corrosive piles or even the parasitic bombs will do a lot of damage. Look at the Liberators get chunked away at! And those parasitic bombs are deadly. Okay, they don't get the kills, but super low now makes it so much easier to fight in the future. You have to be very careful about it. 4 Infestors, 3 more Vipers on the way up. Snute playing, he's so good at playing this late game sit-up. It's so difficult to play such a micro-intensive style where you've got to control so many different units. It's so difficult. Snute is one of the very best in the world at it because he plays for that play style in the late game time and time again. These spores starting to drop over here. Snute taking his time as his Vipers consume the energy to get ready to fight. Corruptors don't want to lead the charge on their own. 5 more Corruptors, 2 more Vipers on the way as well. And I mean, we still got Liberators sieged up, and with damage done to them, they're kind of a little bit weak. I mean, now is the time to strike for Snute if he finds an opportunity. Comes in from the left with Ghost Ravager. Sorry, Infestor Ravager. He's going to get rid of a whole bunch of these ghosts. And that alone is kind of a big deal, so that's really nice. A couple more ghosts are in the fray, but still, I mean, it's just information here, which is nice. Ooh, big EMP, though, actually hits a whole chunk of those Infestors and haven't hit those Infestors. That's going to be kind of crazy. A lot of energy just lost there, basically out of nowhere. Marines again back in play, just doing a little bit more. Marines chasing on forwards and again dealing a little bit more damage. Very passive game here. You see a lot more parasitic bombs going down. The Vipers just spamming those parasitic bombs in the sky, and the Vikings are just sort of sat with each other right now. Liberators too are just getting destroyed. I mean, there's a few Corruptors left in the front. The Brewers have taken kind of the dive forwards. A few more Corruptors would not be amiss. And, oh, actually, look at that. Snute is going to clean out the entire air army, more or less. I mean, what? A couple of low health Liberators left, if that even. Corruptors will chase them away. They are super low health. Now is the time for Snute to push. He realizes what he's just achieved here. A big victory for him, and it takes Semper a while to rebuild from that. And so Snute will push and take advantage of the victory he's just had. One single tank behind this wall is not going to be that much of a fear factor here. As you can see, Infested Terrans dropping down. Some Marines are being brought back into play. So the VMP hits a lot of those Infestors. And the Liberators sieged up. All of those low health lives, man. One single corrosive bar would get rid of them all. But that's not going to be found just yet. However, maybe soon as we're going to see more Liberators moving into position. Corrosive bars dropping down all over the place again. Broodlords are starting to get the damage done, but he needs the Corruptors to help push back the Liberators at the moment. The Broodlords are about to go pop because they're all clumped up as well. What is even going on in this fight? A blinding cloud in the back and abduct on the siege tank. 2 or 3 Broods left over. Corruptors have won the fight in the skies, but now the Broods are going to start getting one out on the ground. 3 Broodlords still left. A Snipe gets rid of one of them. 2 Broodlords remain. A Viking comes forward but gets taken down. Corruptors, Torst Exterior down. An Orbital Command Center too. It looks as though Snute is broken through in 25 minutes. And he is just going to be able to keep on fighting to clean this up here. I mean, Marauder going to potentially go down in a second. The tank goes down. I mean, I'm talking about single units now because that's the situation Semper's in. As Marines just run themselves into a death trap. There's no way out of that. GG. Snute takes game 1 in 25 minutes. Get ready for Acolyte. This could be a very long game. Acolyte is naturally a very defensive map, naturally a map you take a lot of bases on. So Dusk Tower is the Proxima station of our current map pool. To the bottom left hand side, our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid is Snute. He's going up against the green Terran player to the upper right hand side from Root Gaming. It's Semper. Just to see what Snoot's going to go for, the one thing that immediately sticks out to me, he took his in-base expansion instead of his out-of-base expansion. And I don't really know why. Usually you would always expect a Zerg to take the low ground, because it's just like defending a normal base, but you get the creep onto the map faster than if you expand in here, which is obviously safer, but you're not too worried about being safe. That's sort of the point. kind of weird. Kind of weird. We're going to see this barracks on the way up, then the CC as well coming through. Set up in towards this, and I'm just going to see what happens. Factory on the way down as well here from Semper. So he's going to play a 2-1-1. How very interesting this game is already. The in-base expansion, the 2-1-1 from Semper, so he's going to change things up a lot himself here already. Snute gets rid of the Reaper, which is nice, denying any further information coming in for Semper in the game. For the foreseeable future. Just stops Semper from knowing for sure there's a third hatchery, etc. It's good information to pick up on. It's good information for him to gain here. We'll continue on towards the upper right-hand side to try and get a little bit more done. Try and deal a bit more damage. I mean, there's not going to be much to do though, right? Semper also took the in-base expansion. You're not really going to be able to break through here. Semper with the Mutalisk trophy top. Hello, Mr. Mutalisk. Look at this, Snute with no trophy. What a shame. Poor guy. No in-game trophy. You know what they should do? They should give players, they should give WCS champions a special trophy. You guys think? Give like the WCS players a special trophy they can put next to their Nexus or Command Center, etc. That'd be well sick. That'd be really cool. They have stuff like that in CSGO, right? In other games. What's up, Andy man? Thank you for the cheer 50. Says everyone be great and support the streamer. Appreciate the cheer 50, mate. Really do. Really do. Just waiting to get set up into this, guys. Obviously, as the sim comes up, we'll get to this point where the two medevacs are out, and then the two medevacs can go and journey across the map to try and find their initial damage, poke away at the Terran base, and just see what they can find early on. Marines all just gathering up together. A couple of Evo chambers coming on into play as well. 16 Zerglings on the way out. It's a lot of lings. Two medevacs loaded up and they do start to move on over here. Snute didn't quite see it. I think he's seen enough already. The fact he's seen the reactor on the barracks for so long gives him a lot of information. Can't find the extra little something he's looking for, but I mean, for now it's okay. As we see in a moment or so, Semper will be taking his third CC, probably on the low ground. Double engineering bay already up, and there it is, actually third CC queued up to come down. Just part of the build, really. Obviously, from Snute's side of things, he's got Lings and Queens to defend this first wave. His own upgrades coming up too. Double upgrades, melee upgrades, going to be his choice. He has a feeling he's going to go across and counterattack while well, actually, these Lings just completely destroy these dropping Marines right there. You know what, these Lings, if they surround the Marines and fight the Marines, can they get a cancel? I don't think there's enough Zerglings to really fight this many Marines. So Snute doesn't find what he's really looking for with this little counterattack. Doesn't have enough numbers just yet to make this work. There's Marines and medevacs of Semper coming down. A little bit further towards the bottom left. 15 more drones on the way up here from Snute. Just going to go into a huge wave of drones after deflecting the first wave of this aggression, but it's not over yet. Semper actually never built a third and fourth medevac, so actually his second wave of this is very slow. Marines just gathering together. A few Marines just pulling back in towards the center too, and I mean for now Snute just going to his lair. The 1-1 upgrades, by the way, again melee upgrades worth noting. Obviously a bit different here from Snute to what we've seen before. The Roach play, we said he has chances to change it up, and this might be one of them. Here in Acolyte, you might look to play a Ling Bay Muta playstyle. So these Marines moving on over to the right hand side. everyone's getting picked off right away. And again, these two medevacs of Semper going down to the south side of the map as well. So moving on down here, looking to see what else they can get up to. Infestation Pit drops down at the same time as the Spire. Snute not wasting time. Whether he just goes for a couple supporting infestors or whether he wants to invest into the real kind of hive tech already. It's still a very fast infestation pit considering he's also building the Spire. Just getting those going as we see. Best few Banes starting to move in here. Ling alone will struggle to deal with this, I think, though. And that's sort of Snoot's issue right now. He doesn't have the Banelings ready. Semper staying close to this rock, which is obviously a little bit less surface area for Snute to surround with. And again, a few Banes come up, but no Bane speed. And it's not that many Banes, only 3 of them. Very easily targetable by Semper here. Snoot's just waiting for Semper to move a bit too far forwards. Very patient play by Snute, and this might be his chance. He goes in for the wraparound. Problem is, when you wrap around, there is just going to be a lift up. And the lift up does allow Semper to just escape out of here without too much of an issue. Straight into hive from Snute once again. Again, playing that Ling Bane style. Does he actually commit into meters or not? Maybe not. Maybe he goes Ling Bane Corruptor. No, he is going to make meters. 4 of them on the way up. I thought maybe Ling Bane Corruptor, then play into Broodlords right away could have been a possibility. Just wants to play that super fast hive tech. Whatever he wants to do with it, I guess we'll find out over time. Again, generally, I guess Broodlords are a possibility, but also if the melee upgrades saw Ultras. Ling Bane made it into super fast Ultras before Semper's really aware of it. It could work well. Semper will obviously be looking to hit a 2-2 time to try and slow the Zerg down from any sort of hive-based tech, but if he attacks with 2-2 as Snute hits Ultras, well, that might just be a bit too late already. A bit of a push down bottom right-hand side. A few more Banes in play now, and obviously with the Bane speed finish, it becomes a lot easier to defend against attacks like this compared to what we were seeing previously, which was a very difficult and a very concerning attack to deal with. So it's good to see Snute will be just a bit more prepared. Will not be kind of taking damage this time or under threat of too much damage. You just will want to be careful as Snute just spreading himself out and getting ready to go in towards this fight. I mean, he's not going to just mess around, as we actually see a lot of Lings counter-attacking again. He'll probably morph in some Banes and go for that counter and see what he can get up to. Snute, second place out of his group, featuring Optimus, which he tied with, Drogo, who he tied with, he didn't make it through. There's also Cham in his group, as well as Ryung. Not Ryung. That's in Snute's group in this event. Alive, it was alive. Here's one of the Green Tyrants. That's close. Counter-attack from Snute got turned away, so for now it's just going to sit back. As a few Banes will lead the charge into this. He just trying to take the opportunity to pick away at a medevac or two, and yeah, Snute just trying to find those little picks. He's going into Ultras again. If he hits them here, he's going to be in a very powerful position, but if he doesn't get them, all of a sudden Semper is going to have such an army, so much coverage of the map. You just see Semper just sat over to the right-hand side. So Snute prepares himself. 3 Ultras about to pop now. They don't have Kindness Plating yet. They don't have +3 Carapace, but it is all on the way. He does have a few Banes to buy himself a little bit of time. Nice connection there, not bad at all. Doesn't really kill much, but it really takes a lot of those Marines low, and they make them think twice about continuing to push on in. Has to be so careful of that Widowmine still, though. Back and forth with those Marines, free. Getting closer and closer. Myvis side, but that Snute Carapace is just so important as the Kindness Plating. Pushing forwards again. Going to be seeing the Lings and the Bane not doing too much this time. Snute still has some Lings up here, which he was originally using the counterattack, but hasn't done anything with it for a moment or two. Here you go, a bigger stim in. Kindness has just finished up though, and the Ultras are being transfused, allowing him to really kind of push through this, and this is what Snute's been waiting for. He just goes at this army as soon as he gets the Ultras, and those Ultras still alive, but not for much longer. Lings, however, coming in as well, and they'll tank a little bit more damage. Semper just cannot seem to kite as he wants to against this. Some Corruptors have joined the fray, and they're helping to get rid of every single medevac. Finally, one of the Ultras falls down. But is one Ultra kill really worth all of those units lost here by Semper? I don't think so. Snute, with the patience of a god there, has just waited and waited and waited before he struck forth and really took advantage of a situation he knew he could fight in. Fight in? It took him a little while as he waited for those Ultras, but they came, and when they came, he absolutely steamrolled the army of Semper. And now Snute maxed out is not going to waste time getting across the map. I'm probably looking to put an end to this game number 2, putting himself 2-0 in the lead in this best of 5 in today's round of 12. Queens, Lings, a couple of ultras will start to work their way through those rocks. The fours on the high ground actually doing quite a lot of damage. Snute not actually able to break through here. Might have to loop further around top, or just work his way from the right hand side. Ideally, he breaks down these rocks and then he's able to attack up that direction and this direction at the same time. He might still go for something similar coming from the top from this location too. Still really not that much at all for Semper overall. I mean, the fours are nice, but they have to make sure to target the right things. So just going to take the opportunity to come in with some mutas and just go for some harassment, it seems. But he turns away pretty quick again. I mean, the fours are nearby. He needs to be careful. Adrenal glands on the way up and +3 melee. Life is only getting easier and better for Snute as he goes into further upgrades, which just benefit the units he already has out on the field. And those Lings are going to be absolute monsters in the next few moments. They're going to be able to rip anything to shreds in just a matter of seconds. Little drops outside, and Snute is a little bit slow to actually find where it drops, but he has been chasing it down for a little while with some Zerglings, and so in the end, it's not too much damage done. It jumps all the way in towards the natural third base now. Queen's here, able to continue dealing damage, and I mean, he might be able to unload in the main, but again, this is a drop which will eventually be dealt with. Snute immediately cancels his base top left-hand side as a push comes in though from Semper. He's not just going to try and fight battles which he can't lose, and well, a couple of Widow Mines initially here actually helping a lot in terms of getting rid of the first Ultralisk in the front. With that Widow Mine for a lot of splash damage. Don't think Snute can really fight down that choke point, and I think he knows it, backing away because of it. You see Lings and Ultras continue to push on in and just going to keep on fighting here. Corruptors and Mutas in the sky already working their way through the Medevac. Medevac going down, the 4 going to go down as well. Everything cleaned up yet again, and Snute just keeps finding the victory in these larger fights. He keeps finding what he needs to win these games in these larger fights, and that of course is really the hugely beneficial thing as time passes by in all of this. Ultras help to break through those rocks, and he's going to gain access towards these Widow Mines and these Marines and Marauders again. Friendly fire is dealt, and these Ultras, I just don't know if they're stoppable right now. You're going to be seeing the Bio trying to kite away for days. Corruptors will go into the Planetary Fortress. There's nothing nearby to protect that Planetary. And these Ultras, so low on health, they will go down actually. Snute might not want to... he's actually going to lose a lot very quickly, but again, Corruptors 4-6 spraying, and Planetary will just about survive to the repair of the SCVs. The orbital that was there does go down though. So it's still just expanding. Gold base being taken. He's got creep right out, not just in the center of the map, but towards Semper's 4th base. Semper, he just doesn't have what he needs to get rid of Snute's expansions to slow down Snute's army enough here. He really just does not have what he needs at all. Two Medevacs right hand side are going to boost down, look to see where they can go, look to see what they can do. I mean, Semper is probably one of his better choices, dropping around, trying to catch Snute, harass Snute around, and just buy himself a bunch of time, right? Marines unloading, and well, unfortunately for Semper, Snute's found these Medevacs and Marines pretty quickly, and so he's going to be able to jump on top of some Zerglings. He actually loses a few Corruptors here initially. Corruptors will come back in. Nice target fighting by Semper to make the most of it. Obviously he wants to get rid of the anti-air so that he can actually get away with one of the Medevacs, which he does manage to do. He made a good job of this here, and he does back away to the left side with the single Medevac, although Corruptor and Spores combined, he'll still get the kill. 7 more Corruptors on the way up. Snute not really worried about his bank just yet. In fact, Snute is obviously kind of feeling pretty good, I think, at the moment. Maxed out, he's got the army that he wants. He's been able to mass a lot of Ultralisks up. 13 Ultras on the map, not even that much Ling Bane. 17 Lings, 8 Banelings. Maybe be a lack of Ling Bane, honestly. I mean, I like Ultras, but you know, sometimes there can be a couple too many. At this point, though, you can send a couple Ultras to every base and just leave them to harass around and then go for a large fight at the same time. Snute with so much to play with here. Widow Mine drops as well, again, just something else. Semper's going to try go for a nice split away by Snute, going to minimize the damage taken. As always, just doesn't want to let himself take too much damage more than he needs to. Queens get the kill on the Medevac before any more Widow Mines get out. Another little disaster there for Semper, just something which again hasn't worked out for him. Trying to drop, trying to find harassment damage, doesn't end up finding anything. There's Sim on in already. Explain up the army a little bit here, Snute, and that's going to be something Semper speeds up his army a little bit, and Snute will try and take advantage of that. Liberators still start a siege, and Snute for now will not seem to care. He just lets these ultras run to their deaths. Snute needs to be careful of those. At the same time, the ultras top side will kill the planetary fortress. The SCV repair just isn't even comparable to the damage output. And so 15 SCVs going down as well as a 5th base. Semper is soon going to be starved out as we're going to see ultras moving forward. They're going to start finding reinforcements, and this time there isn't really enough reinforcements to really justify kind of being able to get rid of these ultras, and so Semper has to actually find units from somewhere. I mean, his army on the bottom right side of the map right now, I mean, you know, it's something, but there's, you know, if he wants to bring it all the way back home, it's going to take a long time, and obviously just cleans up the map from Snute. Snute's going to fight this anyway. Corrupt has mostly been the benefiters there. Obviously, we saw the ultras just getting evaporated. It's kind of the ultras, the issue with so many ultras right here against so many marauders. The ultras just don't stand much of a chance over time. And even, again, Lings at this point might be good against so many marauders. And Lings are obviously able to tank quite a lot against marauders, which shoot fairly slowly compared to, say, Marines. A lot of the few changes coming in to try and just help block here and there. Obviously, the Lings fast as well, able to jump on top of those low health units every now and then and just get the final shots needed to finish them off. Semper dropping down to just about 130-ish supply now. Gets worse and worse for him, it seems, as time passes by. Does he even have a great aspire? He doesn't. Missed opportunity because, I mean, there's been no anti-air, realistically. I mean, there's not been Vikings or anything. You get a few broods up. What does the Terran play even do then? Definitely doesn't have the income or the setup to really transition into something which is going to be able to deal with broods. So just moving in a few more Banes. They have been missing for a while here, the Banelings. Queen's already targeting down the Liberators here. Where are the Corruptors? They are somewhere, but they're not here. Type by GG anyways. He knows it's a little bit too much. He knows he can't. If you're enjoying, you can support by hitting that follow button. You can subscribe as well. You can donate. You can cheer, of course. Check out all those options as ways to support the channel going into the future. For now, it's Snute Semper game 3. Snute's had all the answers so far. Semper's had none of them, as Snute leads 2-0. Our Red Zerg from Team Liquid in the lower right side of Ascension to Aya. Top left from Root Gaming, the Green Terran player Semper. Came through his group with an impressive performance, knocking out Bly as he came through. Unfortunately, he is on the verge of defeat himself now here, in what could be our 5th 3-0 of the day. OSC Masters Cup continues tomorrow after this. We'll be live with Ryung versus the winner of this series, Penguin versus a Laser. Then semi-finals time, the winners of those matchups obviously go up against each other, as well as Neeb against Alive. So very exciting day of StarCraft tomorrow as we return once again in the for the OSC Masters Cup for the final day. Going to go all the way through the finals, crown a champion. We'll be rebroadcasting this tournament for this evening as well, guys. As soon as we are finished up with the day, we're going to reset the stream. Just remove the delay, basically, and set the rebroadcast going so you guys can check out all of the matches in case you missed any of the earlier ones. Definitely worth checking out. There's been some great games this evening, so definitely worth checking that out as well if you haven't already. Stick around. We'll be rebroadcasting so you can get that authentic experience with the Twitch chatters and all. Alright, then Reaper moving around here from Semper. Looking to see where it can go, looking to see what it can do. So Reaper moving on over, and as Reaper just moves on over, just going to be seeing this third hatchery just going to be delayed, actually. Even though drone going to go down, Queens will not be there in time to help it. And that will be the Reaper just getting pushed away. Ling speed on the way up, just about halfway done. As that Ling speed's about halfway done, a couple of Lings continue coming out here. As the Queen, Reaper fighting against each other. Just having a little bit of a skirmish right there. See if you're going to throw down the supply depot. Throwing it down. Absolutely mental. Just throws it down. Doesn't care. Yeah, I mean, real build order here from Semper. Not too crazy. Is again going to be that Widowmine drop. We've seen a lot of Widowmine drops today into what I imagine will be the factory reacted Hellions. Maybe just a help-out attack once again, but Snute's also been very good at defending those sort of attacks, so I'm not sure if it's something he really wants to invest into. It's kind of a tough one to call, I suppose. As we set up into this. Sorry for the little beep there, guys. Medevac on the way out as third hatchery is over to the right-hand side. Just sort of sat there waiting to see what's next. for itself. Never mind, Team Marine's going to load up in Semper. He's going to be able to start pushing those out onto the map, so just going to be seeing him trying to pressure a little bit here. Do you see those couple of depots coming up? Semper continuing to set this up, get this rolling. Again, as he moves onto the map, he wants to not worry about counterattacks, but fully focus on his pressure. Even lifting up this Reaper here. Armory on the way down, so it's going to be those Halberds, and how well prepared will Snute be? Well, again, Snute likes to make a lot of queens, so generally he should be pretty well prepared. Already 5 up and 2 more on the way. First Red of Mine begins to burrow up top there, and we'll see once Zergling going to give itself up, and also runs into the Marines to friendly fire. And already, Semper has been completely denied his first little drop here. We saw this build from Keen against the Laser, and honestly I didn't like it back then either, because he was just not finding any damage with it every single time he tried to do this build. And it's very much the same right now here from, you know, Semper against Snute. He's just not finding the damage he needs with this in these early stages. You're going to see Hellions are going to try and get some drone kills, and the drones are stacked up a little bit there. Oh my god. 6 workers is not that bad considering the situation. I actually think killing the Hellions here is not so bad overall in general, considering it was meant to be a Hellbat follow-up. Can't really go for a Hellbat follow-up without the Hellions, can you? No, not really. Doesn't really work out. Believe it or not. Queen's coming in, killing a Banshee as well. Oh my god, Snute is just absolutely dominant right now. He's just really kind of running circles around Semper. Like, there's not much else to say about it. Like, Semper is being made a fool of in a couple of ways, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. I hate to say it, I really don't want to say it, but it kind of is looking a bit true. Like, Semper's not really having the best of times here just yet. I mean, Snute just keeps deflecting everything with such ease. I mean, finally we're going to see some Hellbats going forwards, and Snute will have to drop a couple transfuses, but the Queen still won't die. Oh, he might lose that Queen. Nope, transfuses are still good, and well, Snute is just going to relocate down to the south side, bring all those Queens in. Does he have any Lings right now? 12 Lings on the map. I'm not sure where any of them are, actually. A couple of them up there clean out a Widow Mine. Maybe this is Semper's opportunity to finally get some damage done. A follow-up attack, which so far has gotten some drones low. See the medevac going down instantly here. Queens are still continuing to fight against Hellbats. There's no lair, right? So you can't actually just use an Overseer to kind of keep mobile detection. Has to wait for this Banshee to move in towards Spore Crawler range, which Semper will not allow to happen just yet. But everything else has been cleaned up already. He will find himself a few drones as they move back down to the low ground. Okay, I mean, there's damage being done, but Snute is already up 15 workers. Killing 4 workers just brings them down to only a 10 worker lead. You still need to do something about that as Semper, who is going into for the 3rd game in a row this bio play, and I don't blame him. If he doesn't play mech, he doesn't play mech, but he has to try and find a different way of approaching this game, because it's going to be difficult. Snute is once again, by the way, going to open melee upgrades. So melee upgrades on the way out. Now that's something which is interesting, because of course, again, we mentioned Snute is more of a Roach Ravager player. We saw melee upgrades in the last game, but if melee upgrades 2 games back to back, very, very interesting. I wonder if he plays Hydra Ling Bane or if he plays Ling Bane Mutate this time around. Obviously, it's going to be Ling Bane based. It could be Ling Bane just straight to Ultras as well. That is something you could do. It's a possibility. Let's just pull him back for now. All the way back in towards the natural expansion, so they're just going to hide away in the corner. We're going to see this Banshee here gets taken down pretty swiftly. Nice pickup by Snute. Good damage done right there. Solid killers. Semper then once again moving further down in towards the center of the map again. What else can he do though? I mean, I see a couple of Lings on the watchtowers. We'll see those medevacs moving over, and I mean, I guess he's going to drop around, which is, I mean, is that the stage of the game where dropping around is definitely what he wants to try and do. Snute's just going to play the same style as last time. Spire and an Infestation Pit building at the exact same time. As they build at the same time, obviously, it opens that opportunity for him to get the mutas up to help him defend, and then eventually just go into very fast ultras, which last game, Semper wasn't really prepared for. As soon as those ultras came out, Snute rolled over his army, and obviously it took him a while longer to win after that, but for a good amount of time, Snute was then kind of very far ahead in army supply. Just a map like Acolyte is difficult to end the game on. Fairly large, very defensive, not too easy to just push on into someone. And still here in the center, Hive is on the way up almost instantly. I wonder if again it is going to be Mutas or if he just goes straight to Corruptors. It really feels as though you could get away with just going straight to Corruptors with this, but I mean the Mutas do have a little bit of speed to them, as we see some Veins threatening to roll in over there. large army towards the third base, and so there's massive Ling run by. Not going to get anything done. At fifth base from Snute on the way up, very out of the way, rather than taking one of these more central bases, which is oftentimes usually thought of as the common way to expand past 4 bases. Sometimes even taken as the 4th base over here, of course, or even sometimes over here, depending on matchup and race. So to see the base up here is very intriguing, as we see Semper will find it in just a second. In fact, he has already seen it, so this hatchery will go down. Semper gets rid of that without an issue. Snute doesn't even cancel it. Small mistake there from him. Snute actually very far down in supply at the moment, just being so greedy lately with the hive tech coming up at the same time as the teching in towards the Mutas, which 5 of them are now out for. I don't know how I feel about this though. The Ling's running in, the Bio's already kind of clumped up. It's a tough one. It's a tough situation. Tank production, by the way, from Semper, changing up from the Widow Mines we saw in game number 2. So playing this a little bit differently himself already, as you're going to see the Lings. Going set up to the right hand side. The Marines are pushing in already. 2-2 is going to finish with the Zerg, which means it is time to fight. Is Snute really going to find 2-2 against 1-1 fight here? It's literally seconds away, the 2-2 of the Terran player, but Snute's going to go for it. But is he going to have enough? I mean, his supply is just really not there. He is going to come in, and again, just fighting with the lack of upgrades on the Terran will help him a lot. I don't think it's going to help him enough, though. Semper seems to have enough this time around. He's pushing on through. It feels as though Semper is actually maybe going to take a map here now. Stimming forward, you're going to see this hatchery in trouble, and Snute has just been trailing supplies and transfusers dropping, but it's not enough. 4th base goes down, and Semper is on the killing path right now. Stimming forward is going after the Queens. Lings, Muta's going to commit forwards to the Banes, but going to get big connections. Well, I mean, sometimes you need miracle connections, and that was definitely some of them. Snute all of a sudden finds some miracle connections, and now he's going to find himself a chance to start up getting Ultralisks. Just needs kindness playing. Problem is, he lost the 4th base, so his mining is not brilliant. His money, his income is low. So kindness is expensive, but he needs it. He also needs free, at least plus 3 carapace. Ultra's on the way. Could be his saving grace at this point of the game. Just about. Those Baneling connections really saving Snute in the last few moments there, because otherwise he was so dead. And it's going to be very troubling for him. Marines a tank of 4 moving through the top side here. Semper seeing what he can do. Bane's going to pull on over to the right, and again just going to be seeing Marines, medevacs, 4 and tanks. Still gathering up. 4th base from Semper lands over in position 2. Just waiting for plus 3 carapace now. So Snute will somewhat stabilize. He's got a 4th base back up at least. I mean, it's not brilliant, it's not pretty. Semper's really running away in terms of the game in general, but you know, you hit Baneling connections like you've already hit once in this game another time, and well, it's still anyone's fight to be taken at points. You know, targeted down there right away as the Lings are forced to back away momentarily. I mean, again, the Marines are just so powerful at this stage. Not really enough Mutas to be that influential, and I'm surprised we haven't seen the Liberators coming out. Maybe Semper just feels as though Snute's been so in trouble that he hasn't been able to build Ultras. Obviously, we know that's not true, but from Semper's perspective, it's somewhat reasonable. You know, Snute's been under a lot of pressure, and you know, to be able to build Ultras under that pressure would be kind of insane, but he has managed to do it. I mean, it's Snute we're talking about, right? Pushing forwards, a group 202 going down again. Marines and Marauders still just pushing forwards with the scan. We're going to see more and more of this creep just getting picked away at, and obviously Snute trying to counterattack, trying to do anything he can to get back in this in a proper kind of manner. He just isn't finding his answer just yet. 2 more Ultras on the way out. Now extra starports are starting to be thought about for Semper. He's beginning for that transition against the Ultras. The sheer number of units going to cut it here. He is going to have free our Terran against the 2-2 of the Zerg, and Snute has no real option other than just to try and go for this right now. The Corruptors are coming through. The Ultras are running around all over the place. Some Banelings are connecting quite nicely, and these Ultras are lasting a pretty long time. Queen's actually getting rid of the tanks from the high ground. There's too much bio in the end though, and Semper is going to break on through. Snute is pushed away, and that, my friends, is going to be Snute. Well, again, pushed away into a corner, pushed away completely here, basically. Marines and Royals unloading this hatchery. Going to go down, cancel on it. And what does Snute do? Semper will just keep pushing on in. And Snute's going to have free upgrades soon, which will help a little bit. Going to try and desperately morph in a few more Banes. Semper, 20 army supply lead. Not the best kind of anti-ultra composition, but Snute's missing units as well. He's missing Infestors, he's missing enough Banelings to really be scary. He's got tanks on the high ground, which he has to somehow try and deal with. He has no transfusers. Fourth base goes down because Snoot's trying to buy time. He hits a transfuse on one of the ultras. He will pull up into the high ground. This is an ultra on his way there, but just trying to pull back. Just going to try and take the fourth base top right instead. Snute going to try and stay in this as long as possible as Lings, Ultras, Banes pushing on through here, and they will begin to connect. Is it enough? The Lings will begin to get us around. They're closing the gap on the siege tanks too. The Ultras arriving now as well, but there's just the Ultras left against Bio and tanks, and it's the same situation as before. Snute is going to struggle to do too much more in terms of continue to move on through this. That Ultra has to pull away. Corruptors again getting medivacs, but not enough of them to justify transfuse saves. The Ultralisk. More Lings. 5 more Ultras about to pop, by the way. 5 more Ultras could make quite a difference to this situation at the moment. That first Ultra getting taken down almost instantly. Snute needs to be patient. He needs the rest of his Ultras. Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble as Semper still pushing at the front here. Bio is fighting the tank, which pushes forwards, gets taken down. But there's more tanks where that one came from, as these Ultras are not going to be able to do enough. And this Ultra again getting caught so much so on the Queens. Snute somehow finds a way to clean this up. Just about, maybe? Perhaps? More Bio streaming on over here. Another Ultra comes out. Link is streaming in. Snute will just type out GG. He cannot make it happen. Casting this straight after the event. Just a quick refresh on the stream. So keep your eyes open for that. As we go into game number 4. Top left hand side, our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. It is Snute. Bottom right hand side, our green Terran player from Root Gaming. It is Semper. Okay then, guys. Game 4 of this series. Long games as well. 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes for game 3. It's been a lengthy one. It's what we want to see. It's what we wanted to see from the get-go, really. It really is. And glad that we're seeing some more kind of lengthy games now as we move on through. So, another game, hatch ready coming down. Pool was early, so pool hatch gas again. Snute likes the pool first. He likes to get across the map and to try and be a little bit annoying every now and then with those couple of Zerglings. More so than we saw Elaser being, who just went hatch gas pool time and time again. Let's see how this opens then. CC is building from Snute, coming up to being about halfway done. There's a couple of Zerglings. Reaper's on the wrong side of the map, and so immediately SCV will have to be protected by this Marine. And the Zerglings will just go for the SCV kill. Marine's going to be able to get rid of one Zergling, and then we will see the SCV getting picked off as well. So nice little pick off by Snute right there. Making a good job of it. For now. A very good job of it so far. As we do just see the... Again, the link speed on the way up, I suppose. So link speed on the way up, and we do see again the CC about to finish up as well. Starport starts for Semper. Starport coming into play. Just again, we'll see what his early pressure is looking to be. Widow Mine. Is it going to be the Widow Mine drop again? I mean, I criticized this last game. It ended up winning him the game. I mean, I don't know if it was his opening that necessarily won him the game, but he won the game off of this opening, where so credit where credit's due. I just don't know if it really was as effective as it maybe could have been, I suppose. Let's see, this Widow Mine is going to be completing in just a few moments. Marines on the way up as well, and a couple of more Queens just on the way out. Third hatch from Snute just dropping on down, coming up to being about 75% of the way done. Just seeing the single Zergling has been scouting out. Yet to see what Snoot's going to play this game. Does he go back to his Roach Ravager style? Does he still build those melee upgrades? It's fun, isn't it, when you have a player who plays different styles game in and game out. It does make a lot of cool different scenarios, and it allows us to really look forward to what the Zerg might do, rather than just being like, well, he's a Mutiling Bane player, so he'll play Mutiling Bane, you know? So Ben Light's hitting us up with the Twitch Prime sub. Can we get some woody hearts in the chat for that, please, guys? Thank you very much, Ben Lights. Do appreciate the subscription. Let's see some love in the chat for another new subscriber. So many new subs today. We're now only 13 subs away from 200. Hype, hype, hype. Awesome stuff, as you see. Widowmine Marine's going to push on forwards. There's that Widowmine burrowing already. The Lings trying to get a kill on it. Splits away. And minimizes the damage. Not so bad in the end. Spores on the way up, but you can relocate to help out with this. Semper just unloading his medevac next to these few Marines here. So, obviously just getting this set up again. Just trying to fight Queens to get rid of the Widowmine before we can jump into the medevac. And again, Semper not finding too much here. However, Snute might be open to this top side. We're going to see one drone going down immediately. A second drone taking some damage. Lings will run in as well to get this around. One Hellion drops, another Hellion. The rest of the Hellions chased away. Snute defends this. It looks as though it could have been dangerous. Snute minimizing the damage there. Again, just better in the situation. Two Hellions up to the upper right side, just joining up. And is there an armory in play? There is not. So just Hellions this time. Into Cloak Banshee, a bit of a faster stim than before. Now double Engineering Bay. Snute back into the Roach Roar and missile upgrades though. So he's going to play that style which he loves to play. The slow, defensive Roach Ravager style into the later game setup. Get those late game units rolling for himself. As you're going to see Hellions. You find a few more drones. Queen's going to keep on fighting here, and the Queens will help to get rid of the majority of these Hellions. Ling's now coming in to chase the last couple away. And Semper going to give up on those a little bit. Stops microing them. 8 workers killed. The Banshee also coming through, but very nearly goes down. We'll have to stay away now, otherwise he'll be picked off rather easily if he goes anywhere near a Spore Crawler. Or just Queens with detection in general, obviously. Has to be near a Spore Crawler because there is nothing else just yet. Queen nibbling away at that, Banshee nibbling away at that Queen. Roach is still gathering together. The Spore Crawler coming up too. +1/+1 coming in from Semper right now. Stimpak's still just on the way up, and yeah, so many of these Zerglings from Snute going to run on over to the right hand side of the map. And they're going to see what they can do as well now. So Snute running all the way over to the far right, and with a few SCVs just repair up this Banshee. Banshee just going to be good to get across there, maybe try and do some damage once again. Snute, a lot of roaches coming through. He is drawing up as well, getting ready to saturate, not just past free, well, just a little bit past free bases. Obviously, this fourth base is on the way. Couple of Zerglings to get taken down there as Marines and a tank. Having to get out the way of the third CC. Infestation Pit just going to be on the way down. And just a very slow passive game compared to maybe what we've been seeing before now in these series. Ocean Ravers will be able to take down those rocks. So rocks get knocked on down. You see a couple of Banshees still working their way through the hatchery, taking a whole bunch of damage. Couple of Corrosive Valves missing their target here initially. Banshees continue to work their way through this, and again the Queen's pushing forwards. And those Banshees do indeed back themselves away. Drone going down here too, and well, this needs the Overseer really. Where's the Overseer to save the day right now? The Spore's on its way over. There's the Overseer. So many Queens. If this Banshee survives, no way. No way! It was out of range when it took the second round of shots. Crazy. At the same time, Stu completely deflects the drop in his natural. 9 workers killed here over time. Mostly done by those Banshees up there. 11 kills on one of them. But able to redraw and able to set up again. And well, Hive Tech, Spire on the way. That tech into Broodlords is already starting to happen here for Snute. And you see a couple of Corrosive Valves do not hit the marker on that medevac. A little bit unfortunate. GG coming up then from both. We see the Carapace upgrade is just over halfway done from Snute already. And Hive coming up to be about halfway done also, and again just crew pushing out through the left, top, center sides of the map. The crew team is getting picked away at, and just little bits of damage being done. And really the active teamers is always great, of course. I mean, it means that you really just are stopping future creep spread as well, rather than just getting rid of a bit of the creep that's already developed. So that's nice, forces the Queens to get back out in position. And this time the Queens try and come back out here, and get picked off. Terran player makes the most of it and picks off 2 Queens while he's out over here. A bit of a mistake by Snute, sending them out there unprotected and a little bit ahead of their time. Banshees are also cleaning up creep. Also, actually a pretty effective way of cleaning creep. But I actually will never forget when the first time Maru, I think it was Maru against July in the GSTL finals. That was held at IPL. I seem to remember it was something like that. I remember watching Maru open like Banshee Raven, and watching Maru literally just use Banshee Raven as a way to clean creep on Cloud Kingdom. I think it was that map, and I was just in awe. I was like, what? That's so fucking sick. Obviously, game was very different back then with how you could open and stuff, but that was very unique way of cleaning creep out. I'll never forget that game. Well, I'll never forget the sort of thoughts of that game. I might not be exactly correct with which one it is. Semper's getting aggressive, man. He's pushing up here. I mean, Brood's on the way from Snute, but they're not ready yet. And Snute has some time until he is ready with those. As we see him not using Infestor Fungal just yet, obviously. Time is really his best friend right now. If he could buy time, it would be great, but obviously Semper's not allowing him for that time. I mean, Gravespire is not far away though, right? And there is already 6 Corruptors up. And there's no anti-Corruptor, there's no anti-Broodlord play from the Terran player momentarily, so you know what, 6 Broodlords are not going to be that far until they join the fray here. The thing is, tanks are getting closer and closer. Fungal and some bars coming down. Snute might lose this topside base. In fact, he will lose this topside base, which means Semper has hit his time and he's picked off that base, and now he'll be able to back away before the Broodlords even become an issue for the tanks. He's going to step forwards. Oh, Semper kills 1, kills 2, but the Fungal Groves come down. Semper, that's not really what you wanted to do there, mate. I like the idea, but you're just running into Infestors behind those units, remember? And I think we saw that kind of becoming a bit of a disaster, basically. 3-3 coming up from Snute, then he starts up all of his other Hive Tech bits and pieces now. +1 Flyer Carapace to help protect the Broods further. More Corruptors for the anti-air, whereas the Vikings come out. Maybe even a couple of Vipers will start to come into the fray as well, because it is going to be that real kind of late game battle where every single one of those later game units is going to have a fairly influential role to play. The Viper especially a good way to force the Vikings back, split them up, force them to disengage, great way to abduct as well. Especially against tank play, you can also see those blinding clouds becoming very useful. I remember before Corrosive Bile back in Heart of the Storm, the Fungal Grove blinding cloud combo was so deadly. Nowadays it's the Fungal Grove Corrosive Bile combination. Braves up here getting cleaned out. Snute just taking a small advantage there, not having to worry about those any longer. He'll be very happy about that, I imagine. 3-3 upgrades coming up from Snute. We're going to be seeing +1 ship weapons. Coming up to being about halfway done. In our final series of the day here in the OSC Masters Cup. If you did miss any of our previous 5 best of 5s, they'll be going live on the rebroadcast straight after this, so stay tuned if you are intrigued in more StarCraft action for the day. There's other StarCraft going on, but I think definitely stuff worth rebroadcasting, and just because we started so early, give you guys a bit of a chance to watch some of the earlier games that happened. So it did start very early on today. Medivac's around, moving around, looking to see what's happening. A few Vikings on the way up. So many Broodlords coming in right now. So many Vikings coming in right now to fight the Broodlords. Snute just spreading himself out, really expanding up. Yeah, I mean, he's actually been knocked down at first 3 bases here. Has not been the best at keeping those alive in the last few moments, as we're going to be seeing. Oh, Snute. Can he do to defend it this time? 3 Corrosive Fouls. Not really seeing much. The Corrosive Fouls will miss their markers as the bio dodges away, of course. Hatchery top side is going to be taken down here. A couple of Fungals coming down also to the south, left-hand side. You do see this Bioforce being pushed away as well. Tanks coming forwards once more. Corrosive Valves on top of those tanks are nice. Hits a bunch of Vikings as well. A couple of infested Terrans there. Also being a bit of a nuisance. It's just the tank count. It's so scary. There's no Vipers, right? No, Vipers would be great. Blending Clouds, Parasitic Bombs. Just anything on top of this would be so fantastic just to help them split up a bit. Down here, Great Fungal Growth is landed, but there's no follow-up. Broodlords on their way over, and again, the Broodlords are a great way to force the tanks to maybe unsiege to force friendly fire. Queen's here to protect against the Vikings. Snute is actually struggling to hold his bases. Semper is just all over. The drop to the bottom left, taking away that base yet again, trying to deny Snute once more down to just 3 bases. But even Snute's third base under tank fire at the moment, and obviously that's not pretty. So now the tanks will start to go down as the Broodlords get a chance to fire away. Corrosive Valve's coming in, and he will do a good job of cleaning up these tanks eventually. Down to this side, he's eventually going to clean up this attack as well. Snute with a lot of money in the bank. As Vikings try to dive onto some of these broods, doesn't happen though, and the Queens are able to pick away at the Vikings. All of a sudden, Semper does not have as much as he once had. Not taking the best couple of fights there for the last few moments. Has more Corruptors, more Infestors. Setting on up and getting ready to go again. Libera's still overhead. Now Libera's going to come on through here, the center as well. Ghosts have been added in. We're looking to see the very similar setup to what we saw in game number 1. Something Snute was able to close out, but he was able to hold it back in game number 1. A lot of bases. He wasn't being denied his expansions as easily. And he was able to get really kind of build up into Vipers and all sorts. This game he's not been allowed to do that. Semper's been applying a good amount of pressure to minimize that sort of stuff from happening. He's on 5 bases, by the way. We haven't really looked at Semper's side of the map in forever because we've been so preoccupied with what Snute's doing and what's happening on Snute's side of the map. But Semper's on 5 bases, comfortably mining. He's getting his extra gases, and he's not going to mine out anytime soon. Snute, on the other hand, is 4 bases. You know, 5th base just now rebuilding yet again. Don't even know how many times that base topside has been killed off. At least twice, if not 3 times. Snute's army is still powerful, though. 142 to 115 army supply on the map. Semper with a few more workers up in the game, and let's see. Moves forwards, he'll find where that tank line reaches to. Semper scans top side. We'll see that hatchery building yet again. It's a tough one for Snute because he needs to try and keep his Broodlords in position, which is something he just hasn't been able to do so far. No Corruptors anymore, by the way, just Broods, Infestors, Ravagers. Getting some Vipers up as well. Slankor's buying some time to land Ravagers and Infestors, getting location. At the same time, Semper is beating together some units up top side too. Will force you to move over in that direction as well in a few moments. Fungal Growth misses over here, and unfortunately for Semper, for Snute, sorry, not much more you can do. Snute just distracted and didn't see this army coming in on the creep spread. We're going to see another hatchery taken down. Another drone gets taken down as well. More and more of these drones getting picked away, as you can see. Broodlings dropping down, Broodlings getting rid of a whole chunk of units there. 2 more Vipers on the way up. Snute's still just playing the slower, later game scenario right now. Lower workers, really powerful army though. I think with the Vipers coming in, Semper's going to have so much more to worry about suddenly. I really do feel the Vipers are just something Snute's not been able to commit into until now. But now that he's got them, they really are a turning factor in terms of how he can engage this army in certain ways. Oh, Vikings pull forwards, they're going to get fungled. Corrosive Valves will come down as well. Follow-up fungals. You see some snipes coming down in return from the Ghosts. More than a trade-off there. Wouldn't say it was really favorable to either. Overall, 14k to 17k resources lost. Snute has to be the more efficient player if the worker count he's on with the way that this game has been going so far. Love that Blinding Cloud. It picked away a lot of the low-health Vikings. Got some kills. This Viking is very lucky to be alive. 3 HP. 1 more hit of anything would have done it. So many Queens up top protecting that base now. Snute realizing he needs something up there. He needs extra mining. He's going to move in towards the center also. Spore Crawler line is being set up. We're back into this typical sort of Snute-based game. Where Snute plays the late game, plays it long. We're just to see how it goes. We're going to see Ravagers moving forwards. Marauder takes them down. You're going to see some more Infested Terrans going down. Corrosive Valves going up again. And, well, this base is actually going to go down for the Terran player. Perhaps the Infested Terrans will help it. A little bit of extra surge damage from the Infested Terrans. Always a nice little bit of something. Now you're going to see Bio just going to stay over to the left side once again. But because the rocks are down all over the place, Snute is able to respond pretty quickly. Not fast enough against these Marauders though. Base goes down. At least this time Snute is defending and has gotten up a base to the top side of the map. Snute is able to keep on mining here as he keeps on fighting there. Most of Val's Medivacs back away. Still at the same time just a bit of a stalemate in towards the center at the moment. Snute limited on mining income for a moment while he transfers. Will want to take these extractors up here too. He needs to keep that gas income rolling. Center base is very safe for him at least. Couple of ducks forwards on these ghosts they tried to snipe down, and maybe I think it was a Viper or so. Still play now. The Broodlords cancels a couple of snipes, though, and actually saves the front Broodlords. Transfuse is available, and Snute will be able to get those back up to health in a moment. Liberators and Semper continue coming out here. We're just going to be seeing Broodlords dropping down there. Broodlords once again. Going to see a couple of tanks getting picked off there, and again, Semper just being picked away at. Broodlings are going to find their way to the Ghost. That's scary. Don't want those Ghosts to go down for any reason, of course. Top side, this hatchery of Snute just still mining away as well. Some Ghosts now pushing forward once more. Ooh, that was... These Broodlings are terrifying, man. They're doing a lot of damage. Yeah, you have melee upgrades. Force over here getting pushed away as Semper unable to deny the base coming back up here from Snute. Snute needs gas. He needs to get those extractors rolling. He just hasn't for a while now. And that's going to be starting to do in the center, but he needs it all over the place. He really needs it. Is going to be abducted forwards as they try to siege up. No kill. Once again run forwards and again try to catch what they can. Well, there's a big catch. Fungal Growth on the Ghosts. They can't get away from these Broodlords anymore, so the Ghosts are starting to go down. Chain Fungals on the Vikings. The Vipers don't have energy to Parasitic Bomb, otherwise that would have been a dead air army. That could have been game, honestly. If all those Vikings go down, the Broodlords become unstoppable. Wow, that's a shame from Snute that he didn't have a Parasitic Bomb available any longer, because that could have been huge. Parasitic Bombs on a couple of those Vikings. Game changes. Game completely changes. At the same time, a push up the top side is cleaned out of base. This left-hand side base goes down again. Snute just cannot hold these bases. Semper every now and then just comes out of nowhere and just annihilates them. Stops Snute from even doing, ever doing anything with them. And again, we were just talking about how important the gas is on these bases. Snute really needs it right now. He is currently at 2.6k to 100. He needs to take the gas here. He could have done this on the other base as well earlier. He's just so slow to do it. And I mean, obviously you can't blame him. He's so caught up in other bits and pieces right now, but he has to find a way to get that gas back. If he doesn't have enough gas, it's going to be problematic for him. It really will be. Another couple of ducks in here is going to see those Liberators taking some damage, taking some shots. People still overhead to see what they can do. Changeling's getting taken down. Still the army supply lead from Snute, who's just been on less workers over time here. Obviously means that efficiency still is key, and that's what he's had. 8k resources advantage in terms of what's been lost. Semper, money of his own in the bank at the moment. Libs still pushing forwards, and that's what these Vipers are here for. Bring these units forwards. Try and get rid of the Libs as easily as best you can. Transfuse keeps Broodlord alive. Fungal Growth doesn't hit too much, just a couple trailing Vikings. Again, Ghost taking so much damage every time. Fire will stim up to the top side of the map yet again. Just wants to get up there and kill this hatchery for what, like the 10th time? This hatchery has just been unstoppable. Broodlords still pushing forwards. There's a lot of Broodlords. Such an insane number of Broodlords, I would say, right now. These Ravagers come up here and they will start to try and fight this. Corrosive Blast coming down, it's split away, and Queen's here as well, transfusing those Ravagers. Finally, Snute finds a way to defend the base. And now nukes are active. He's going to start going through. However, he does see the go. I thought he saw the Ghost there. Maybe a snipe on. That is going to be a dead Broodlord. Snute pulls his spores back, minimizes the damage. Didn't know where that nuke was, so very little damage. And where is that Ghost Academy even? There it is, right there. That's the cheeky little position where those nukes are going to be launching from. So it's actually got an army of his own to the top side now, around the right. Problem is this base is already mined out. Semper even expanding over here now. Snute's next base might very well be this one. He might just be aiming to mine out one base at a time at the moment. so he can keep his main army overhead on it. And Semper's income 69 workers. That's the issue, right? He's just got such good income he can afford to rebuild even when Snute is picking away time and time again at all these different bits and pieces. Waiting for the nuke, and there it is, up into the skies. Nuke launches itself forwards. Parasitic bombs all of a sudden coming down on those liberators. Brood's pushing forwards. He does kill the Ghost, launching the nuke. Broodlings gets around on Ghost as well, and they do a bit more damage here. I mean, in a moment or so, we're going to be seeing maybe even Snute finding the opportunity. I mean, it feels as though Snute, it's just so difficult for him to find the right place to push forwards into, right? Queen's going to get rid of those Ghosts, which for some reason just run on forwards there. A little bit of a mistake. Left angle growth landing nicely on those Vikings. We've been talking about getting rid of the Vikings, and now that he's actually getting rid of them, the Broodlords push forwards a little bit more comfortably than he has previously. Parasitic bombs again in the sky, and Semper has to keep on fighting against these. 25 minutes in, we're in the longest game of this series so far. Spore Crawler still dealing the damage, still picking away at Vikings and all sorts here and there. You see the Impiers coming down, nicely placed there onto some of those Queens, but again, the Ghosts are starting to pay with their lives, fully surrounded by those Broodlings. And the Broodlings are just going to get rid of more and more. The Broodlords, there's nothing to stop them pushing forwards because the Viking count has disappeared, and all of a sudden, Snute, after so long controlling, well, just hanging on and being controlled in his base number by Semper, Snute has been able to break on through because of the Viking kills. The Vikings going down means the Broods can push in, and that changes so much. Nice amount of, well, a couple throws of, Snipes trying to come down there. Broodlings respond to try and cancel them. A Ghost Cloak to try and stay alive. Now they've run out of energy, though. Vipers are back full of energy, too. You see some, well, Siege to live. Spores are just going to push forwards. They're going to push through this choke point, and that's huge progress now. Being able to push through this choke point. Parasitic bombs again. Vikings and Livs being caught, and all of a sudden Corruptors are coming out because Snute realizes the anti-air isn't there anymore for Semper. Semper's struggling. He's starting to bleed. I mean, Broodlings are going to come in. There's just nothing to stop the Broodlords anymore. The few Vikings will not be enough. We're going to be seeing this Planetary Fortress taking a whole chunk of damage, and will get taken down in the next few seconds. Planetary Fortress. Meanwhile, there is another drop up here, but this time Snute defends. He's not going to let his economy be hindered any further. He's not going to let his further bases be denied once more. Scan on the left-hand side. Hatchery gets revealed as being right there, and Semper is maybe going to have to start realizing that he's out of luck in this game because he hasn't had an answer for a few minutes now, and again, Corruptors are coming up because there's no anti-air of the Terran player to fight against Corruptors anymore, so the Broodlords are going to be able to do so much more again and again. Spores push forwards once more now. Snute sets up once more into this. We're going to see units gathering together towards the center, looking to see what they can do. Infestors, Vipers, Broods, Corruptors. One of the biggest issues for Snute was pushing through the choke points. That's not an issue any longer because the choke points have already been broken. Main army of Semper pushes top side. Snute sees it though. He's picking away at everything and anything he finds at the moment. Infestors here to fungal that army. There's no medevacs. If he fungals those bio units, it is pretty much goodbye. Snute's still losing some workers now and then, but for the most part, this is not looking pretty as you're going to see the Brood Wolves just continue to push on forwards. 12 Broods in the skies, 8 Infestors, 12 Corruptors, 5 Vipers, 14 Queens with all of those transfusers. Snute loves his late game, and this is him playing his late game. I mean, okay, some Liberators siege up. That just needs the Vipers to abduct them forwards, and they're going to go down. It's actually going to maybe force Snute to lose this base now, which is something. Semper is again denying the mining. If he keeps denying the mining, it could be enough. This Liberator as well is on 17 kills. Snute for base top right, something Semper hasn't seen yet. The Ghouls trying to push forwards. I don't know why he just doesn't bring. Where are the Corruptors? Viper's over here. It feels as though he has enough to just fight the army. Now that it's so much more exposed, now that it is mostly just bio units, they don't transition well this late in the game. I think he's realizing this, Snute. He's moving forwards now, parasitic bombs, and he's also just going to come in. He's also just going to clean up all of these Liberators. Now it really is just bio units, and Semper cannot realistically expect that bio units will carry him through this game anymore. Bio moving back down the right-hand side. Semper still has mining bases, which is sort of the concern, I guess, for Snute to some extent. Snute pushes forwards. He just has to find a way to get rid of this army, which is just so mobile compared to the brutes. I mean, surely, I guess the issue is if he tries to base trade. It base trades, right? If he tries to kill the bases, then, you know, Semper base trades it, and that's beneficial for Semper. It's a tough one. I mean, maybe he could just split up into two halves. You know, half the Broodlords down here, half the Broodlords up top. Some Infestors underneath. With the support of the Infestors and Vipers, I don't think there's realistically a way this kind of fails, properly fails. Let's see some nice fungals there. Does catch a whole chunk of the units and a couple of Broodlords as well. Also doing a whole bunch of damage. Semper does retake some of the position in the middle of the map. Snute's running out. He does have that other middle base, central base we talked about being a possibility for him. Really crazy. Resources lost now 56k to 30,000. It just grows and grows every time we see it in favor of Snute, which is what he's had to have because of how much less economy he's had throughout the game. Absolutely crazy here as we're going to be seeing Bio of Semper pulling away down the left side. We're going to go down. More creep in the center being cleaned out as well. Spores starting to be cleaned out too. Thing is, Semper is running out of units here over time. His unit count is literally just Bio now. A couple of tanks I've not even seen for the longest of times. Where are those tanks? Over here defending. It's just Bio and a few ghosts, and against this many brutes, etc., he's just got to look for the base trade. Absolutely insane at the moment as we see pushing forwards Broodlords again. Going to be seeing what else they can do. Going to be catching Marines, Marauders, and all sorts here. Is going to be seeing those units just continue to drop on down. And on the top side, Marines and Marauders pushing through and looking to see what they can get up to. Marines keep on dropping. The factory's going to fall here. The Ghost Cabin will probably fall very shortly too. Finally, Snute is making progress. He's got enough units left up top to defend these Bio waves. And he's just going to keep on pushing the Brutals. There's no answer to it. There's just no answer to it. Starports are going down before they can build more Vikings. Semper. 50 army supply down still. He has been for a long time, but he's running out of options. He's running out of answers now. Fungals over here are brilliantly placed to lock those medevacs in position. Medevacs will fall. Bio units will drop. Parasitic bombs all over. Snute has so many answers. Suddenly Semper's army is disappearing. And that's the power of Snute's army when it finally gets to fight. 32 minutes in game. That will be it. GG, good luck. Snute moves through to play Ryung tomorrow in the quarterfinals. Snute ZvT.